What was he doing with their booties, man?
Just playing with it. According to the people complaining.
And he had access to the house, and he knows better than be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television. Oh, apparently not. Some things, everything ain't for everybody.
They did not run through Bieber.
They was pressing him like, why you not answering your phone? Like, yo.
He wasn't answering for a reason.
Because you did things to me. Everybody didn't know this.
So they're blackmailing with like a booty.
Kind of.
50 Cent's new documentary digs up truths the industry never wanted dragged back into the light. At the center of it all are two names that represent two very different eras of fame and power. Diddy, the mogul who turned access into authority, and Justin Bieber, the child star who stepped into that world before he was old enough to understand how dangerous it could be. This isn't a story built on gossip or shock value. It's about power, silence, and the deeply uncomfortable question of how long the truth can stay buried when everyone benefits from looking the other way. To understand what 50 Cent uncovered, you have to rewind to where it all started. Long before this documentary ever existed, Sean Diddy Combs had already built an empire stretching from the 1990s through the 2010s. His influence went far beyond music. He didn't just participate in culture, he shaped it. Bad Boy Records, fashion labels, liquor brands, award shows, everything flowed through him. He wasn't just producing records, he was producing careers. If you wanted entry into the industry, you went through Diddy. And if you crossed him, that door didn't just close, it vanished.
Because, he's not intimidated by you, you know what I'm saying? He knows the importance of leaving a legacy behind. We need more adults out there that's going to teach the young, such as myself, and, basically leave a legacy behind, leave something behind,
Artists, managers, and executives quietly whispered about how opportunities could disappear overnight for anyone who stepped out of line. To the public, it looked like charisma and unmatched business genius. To insiders, it felt like control. The kind of power that could elevate you instantly or erase you just as fast.
You're legendary for the parties that you throw.
I'm a legend, baby, for a whole bunch of things.
Yes.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
That's exactly why 50 Cent's documentary hits so hard. He isn't an outsider throwing stones from a distance. He's someone who lived inside that system and spent years warning people about this power structure. When 50 joked about knowing too much or made sly comments about Diddy's parties, people laughed it off.
Like, and you see things like the white party be there, and then they have a little baby like in a sandwich. Like they're hugging him to the front and the back and stuff. And I'm like, yo, get off of him. That's more of my...
At the time, it sounded like rivalry. Two giants trading shots. But looking back now, those comments feel like early warnings the industry wasn't ready to hear. With federal investigations underway and long-buried stories resurfacing, those same words suddenly carry real weight. 50's documentary doesn't just accuse, it reframes everything. And then there's the footage that once seemed harmless but now feels deeply unsettling. Videos that were once brushed off as playful moments between a superstar and his young protege. Diddy handing a teenage Justin Bieber car keys, promising him a mansion at 18, laughing on camera about spending 48 hours together that couldn't be discussed.
Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access.
Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy. Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose.
Back then, fans called it mentorship. Entertainment blogs labeled it industry bonding. But under the lens of 50 Cent's documentary, those clips don't feel funny anymore. They feel chilling. In one scene, Diddy tells a 15-year-old Bieber he'll give him a car and a mansion, joking about going wild together for days while Bieber nervously laughs along. On the surface, it looks innocent, if you don't know what to look for. But once the patterns are laid out, the power imbalance, the secrecy, the access, it starts to feel like part of something much larger. 50 Cent doesn't frame this as a single incident or accusation. He widens the focus. How did this become normal? When fame outweighs boundaries, when adults control access to opportunity, who protects the child in the room? What was once laughed off now raises disturbing questions about how far the industry allowed things to go.
He did his first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. And we gonna go buck full crazy.
And how many people saw the warning signs and chose silence? But 50's documentary doesn't stop at uncomfortable moments. It digs into the pattern behind them. This is where the film shifts from isolated stories to institutional behavior. 50 Cent connects the dots between Diddy's mentorship of Bieber and Usher's story years earlier. A story that now feels hauntingly familiar. Usher once described being introduced to Diddy's world as a teenager, saying it exposed him to adult realities far too soon.
Lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year. Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
Years later, Justin Bieber entered that same environment. The same parties. The same promises. The same blurred boundaries between opportunity and exploitation. At that point, it stopped looking like coincidence and started looking like a system. A system where young stars were handed over under the label of mentorship, but were actually absorbed into a world ruled by power, access, and silence. The documentary suggests this wasn't accidental. It was industry design. Mentorship became a shield, protecting behavior that would have been questioned anywhere else. When the same door opens the same way for every young star, the narrator asks, maybe it isn't mentorship. Maybe it's a machine. And that machine feeds on silence. For the first time, that silence is beginning to crack.
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners
And when people tried to speak up, they weren't believed. For years, 50 Cent played the role of the loud outsider, the one unafraid to mock, provoke, or call out Diddy's excesses. But beneath the sarcasm, there were always hints that he knew more than he was saying. In early interviews, he dropped cryptic remarks. How Diddy's parties weren't for everyone. How some people do strange things to stay on top. Those comments were dismissed as jokes. Typical hip-hop rivalry. But the documentary repositions those moments. It casts 50 not as a troll, but as a witness. Someone who saw the power games, recognized the patterns, and tried to warn people before anyone was ready to listen. One voiceover says, when warnings come from enemies, they're easy to ignore. But what if the enemy was right? Clips roll. Old interviews where 50 smirks but refuses to elaborate. Journalists laugh instead of asking follow-up questions. The message is clear. He wasn't making things up. He was testing how much truth the public could handle. And now, years later, that truth is finally being confronted.
You're not gonna believe this. So I just got a call and Puffy's confirmed for Freeport. It's what? Nah. Okay, well, everybody be scared to drink. Come be wake up, you sore.
That's when the most disturbing claims surface. The documentary's midpoint hits hard, not with rumors, but with records, court filings, federal testimony, and alleged witnesses describing footage that was never meant to be seen. According to the film, one witness turned over multiple tapes to investigators. Recordings allegedly taken from inside Diddy's private events. The witness claims the footage shows some of the most powerful figures in entertainment in moments that should have raised alarms long ago. Among those names are Justin Bieber, Usher, and other young artists who were underage at the time.
Guys, the leaked video of Justin Bieber partying with P. Diddy has just emerged and it looks horrifying. Bieber was not in his right state of mind.
Bad boy there.
Look at that. Whoa, look at that.
Here's your icon alert.
Look at that.
It's called.
Does that look normal to you guys? What's going on here?
50 Cent doesn't accuse anyone outright. He doesn't need to. The power of the film lies in the questions it asks rather than the conclusions it draws. Every testimony is followed by receipts, timelines, quotes, and archival clips that fill in the gaps. This isn't just about what happened, the narrator says. It's about who allowed it. When legality becomes the only boundary, morality disappears. The documentary doesn't claim to have every answer. It demands to know why no one else asked the questions. And as the film gained attention, the industry went quiet. Artists who once praised Diddy's mentorship avoided his name. Executives who once posed beside him on red carpets suddenly had no comment. Longtime collaborators erased old posts. In Hollywood, silence isn't always guilt. It's survival. Every alliance is calculated. Every word can close a door. 50 Cent's refusal to stay quiet set him apart. While others stayed neutral, he doubled down, posting clips, jokes, and receipts that forced the conversation into the open. His boldness became a mirror for the industry. Who would risk their reputation for truth, and who would protect the system that made them rich? The tension is undeniable. Power protects itself. Loyalty and fear often look the same. In this business, the narrator says, truth doesn't compete with lies. It competes with survival. And yet one name continues to haunt the timeline. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber's presence in the documentary feels ghost-like. He has never accused Diddy or anyone else of wrongdoing. But revisiting his interviews reveals a pattern. Regret. Exhaustion. A man grieving the childhood he never had. In one interview, he speaks quietly about feeling controlled. In another, he breaks down while talking about wanting to protect younger artists like Billie Eilish, saying, "I just want to keep her safe." To 50's team, that moment wasn't random. It was a confession wrapped in empathy. A man who knew exactly what happens behind the curtain.